Good morning, my lovely friends. It's another beautiful morning here in Arizona. I'm not seeing any of the colors from the sun this morning. It's back behind those clouds somewhere. And I'm out here later than usual. I had to come out and water the goats and do the morning chores. I didn't get out here yesterday. So when I come out this morning, I discovered right there's more mulch, more limbs. I've got plenty of work to do this weekend. Mike and I separated all these limbs out the other day so that we can have better access to, here it is, to this new arbor that I'm working on that I mentioned the other day. Of course, the last time that I showed it, had all of those limbs piled up in front of it. But I want this open so that we can get to it. And so our lovely friend put all of the new limbs that he brought us where Mike and I had separated out. We put like all the, it looked like fruit wood on this side of the path, and the cedar on the other side. Well, it looks like he actually brought a little bit of cedar as well when he brought that, because there's either that or Micah pulled some out. But that arbor, I'm thinking, while I'm waiting to decide what type of flowers to plant on that, be a good place to put some Malabar spinach, snow peas. But this morning, that's just watering the goats, looking at that lovely view. I'll keep praying for more rain. And I have another cushaw that turned orange. Orange is a pumpkin. And a spaghetti squash that I've been waiting to harvest. I did grab a handful of sun golds as well while I'm out here. So while I was walking around, I found something else that's almost ready to harvest. They're still shiny. I'm going to wait till they turn dull. They're not soft. And I'm trying to, I've never raised huckleberries or, what was the other berry seed that I had? Sunberries, I believe it was. I've never raised either one. And I put the seeds out, and this is the only thing that came up. So, if you know which one this is, please comment and let me know. But I'm waiting for these to finish ripening so Micah and I can try them and see if we like them. Like I said, it's not anything that I grew up with. It's not anything that my mom and papa raised. Of course, they didn't raise borage either. They always raised plenty of dill. I need to harvest some of the dill, and I need to make some pickles, I think, with some of the squash. But there is the spaghetti squash that I'm looking at harvesting. Okay, get to my snips that I left out here. I've been working on pruning all of the tomatoes. I still have not pruned this tomato plant yet. This one is a Tidy Treats. It's got all these clusters right here. And starting to make some tomatoes down here. I'm anxious to see how good these are. And the Heat Masters are putting on tomatoes finally. I need to trellis this one up some more. And let me see, this bush and that one over there are Heat Masters. That one over there is Super Aromas, and it's finally starting to set some tomatoes. Plus I had a couple of limbs from that had broken off in one of the monsoons, so I snipped that and put it in the house in some water to root that. So if those root well, those will be some significant plants. And then as I was trimming all of this on that end are all sun golds. And as you can see, there are some that are ripening up. I actually snagged a few a minute ago so I can take them into Micah. I may steal one or two to take to the office. But I have been watching this spaghetti squash for a while now. So I'm going to take that to the office today. And of course the stems. I hope this is good. When I cooked a cushaw at the office this week. I had it for lunch yesterday. I had sliced it in half and then stuffed it with a mixture of rice, green and yellow split peas, and chicken. And the only male, look how big that is. The only male in our office asked to take what was left home for his supper. Saying, okay, that works. Let me check on my sweet potato slips. Is that cushaw down? Okay. I'm going to have to get out here and clean these up. But I'm hoping we'll get some more rain tonight. Those of you who have been praying for us to have rain, please continue and pray for us to get something from that bank of clouds. We've had so many banks of clouds that have come up, gotten to those mountains right there around our valley, and just gone right around the top of the mountains. But thankfully, over the last, let me see, 2.5 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago, we had 2 monsoons from those clouds that came over. And then 2 days ago, we finally had a third. And of course, we didn't get hit here on this property nearly as hard as a lot of other folks did who are over in the next valley or north of town. There was somebody who put a video on YouTube of what they got north of town. Ooh, that didn't do very well. I'm wondering if it's because not enough sun or what the deal was. Maybe it'll come back. Oh well, this is the first year that I've done anything in this garden space. And I've got some things that are going great guns. These tomatoes and the squash. And then I've got something, and the borash is not doing too bad. The dill did very well. I thought I had mixed some fennel seeds in with these, but didn't have any fennel that came up. So, you know how it goes. All of you who have grown up with gardening or have been started gardening on your own a few years ago, you all know you have to keep going. We did get 2 cantaloupes off of that vine. That's all that came. All the blossoms it had, and I had 2 cantaloupes. But that's okay. Took those to the office. And the gentleman I mentioned earlier had never had vine ripened cantaloupe. All he'd ever had before was what you get at the grocery store. And he absolutely loved the cantaloupe. Okay, so there is my harvest for this morning. That's my second heat master. I'm hoping they find that they start growing a little bit bigger. But you know, the weather's been weird this year. And I got this little handful of sun golds. Those are so tiny and so tasty. And I'm looking forward to those tiny treats, seeing how good they are. I'll let everybody know. I'll put my hand on here to give you an idea of how big this is. And this is not nearly as large as some of the others that I've seen being harvested online. And of course the spaghetti squash. Many of you are familiar with spaghetti squash. It's a good size. So I'll take these to the office this morning, and I'll give Mike, I might sneak one of those sun golds because they are yummy, but the only way that I get one is if I sneak them. Anyway, that is our morning garden walk. Oh man, this is going to make a wonderful little arbor and place to sit and talk with God. I put on another video. I'm going to put a piece of fencing over the top of this so that eventually, I think on the north side of it, I want to get some old-fashioned roses, some old-fashioned climbing roses. First, I'll need to anchor this a little better on this end. Put a post in to keep that sturdy. As for now, I've just got it tied onto the back one to keep it in place so I know what I'm doing. Now on that side is where I think I'll go ahead and plant the peas and the Malabar spinach this weekend. Get that growing up that one. Those are seeds that I have on hand, so I don't have to buy anything for that. What I would love to have for this side, I may have to see if I can contact my aunt and uncle back in Arkansas. There's a place down on Lemon Creek, an old home place. And those of y'all who grew up in the country know what that means when you say there's an old home place. But this particular old home place always had this bank of old-fashioned pink and white roses that had been planted there over 100 years ago, and every year they filled the fence line. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And so I can just imagine in my mind's eye having that little touch of home growing up this side and over the top. Because when I was a teenager, those roses had to have been filling a 20-foot section of that old fence. And they were so thick and heavy, and it smelled so beautiful as you drove by. I could imagine that here. That would be beautiful. But that's it for this morning, folks. I've got to go in and finish getting ready for work. I think I better feed the dogs first, though. They might appreciate that. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed Thursday. Be well, my friends.